Support WrestleTalk!
Hello, I'm Adam from WrestleTalk, and there's been some news this week. We all know about that. Some rather newsworthy news from this week. But that's not why I do this job. I don't do it for the adulation or for the relevance. I do it because Ollie tells me to do this list on a Sunday about the news stories which are okay, but not okay enough to feature in the rest of the week. So, with that being said, I'm Adam from WrestleTalk, and here are 10 news stories from this week you might have missed. Bit of fun? We'll have a bit of fun. Maybe. Number 1, ex-WWE stars returning to wrestling. It's another week, another video talking about WWE releases. This time it's actually positive, as it was revealed that 2 former WWE stars who were released last year will be making their returns to wrestling. Both Nia Jax and Lana were let go from WWE in 2021 after a heated feud featuring Nia Jax repeatedly putting Lana through the commentary table, like literally every week. It's actually quite funny. And the pair of them will be squaring off once more, as they'll be making their return to a brand new promotion, WES, Wrestling Entertainment Series. Big Wes. The two will be facing off against each other for the inaugural Women's World Championship in the new promotion that's founded by the former Authors of Pain, now going by Legion of Pain. The rest of the card's quite something as well, with Adam Scherr, the former Braun Strowman, facing Alistair Overeem for the World Championship. Overeem, who, by the way, is an extremely tenured and decorated mixed martial artist and kickboxer who once called pro wrestling lame, stupid, and fake. I guess the paychecks are real, though. The Legion of Pain themselves are in action against Blake and Macklin, who people may remember as members of the Forgotten Sons. There's also a triple threat between Killer Cross, Samurai Del Sol, the former Kalisto, and Jonah, the former Bronson Reed. The inaugural Women's World Tag Team titles are up for grabs, as Madison Rayne and Tenille Dashwood will face Gianna Perazzo and Chelsea Green. Dean Mutardi, the former Mojo Rawley, will face Lindsay Dorado. Mike Bennett will face Biff Busiak, the former Oni Lorcan, and Dirty Dango, the former Fandango, will face Levis Venezuela Jr., the former No Way Jose. It's a card right there. The show will be taking place on June 4th at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham, England. I just think it's nice that so many release stars are finding work outside WWE. That's good. Number 2, Nash Carter apology. Well, it's time for something less fun to talk about. Last month, Zachary Wentz, formerly known as Nash Carter in WWE, was released from the company following a photo of him dressed as Hitler resurfacing, as well as allegations from his former wife Kimberly of physical and emotional abuse. Though Carter was kept on TV following the allegations, he was quickly released after the Hitler photo began making the rounds. The 28-year-old put out a statement recently apologizing for the incident. No words can truly describe how ashamed and apologetic I am for my conduct in the photograph. There is no excuse for such behavior, and I take full responsibility for my actions and ask for forgiveness. The picture was taken in 2015, a time where I was uneducated on the topic and therefore didn't understand the magnitude of how hurtful it was. Over the past month, I've taken time to reflect on my conduct, to which I express my utmost remorse and regret. I've taken time off social media to refresh and re-educate myself about the horrors of the Holocaust. I truly do hope that this situation will teach and bring awareness to the horrific tragedy that took place so that something like this will never happen again. I can assure you that this is not who I am or what I represent as a human being, and I feel it's never too late to educate and better yourself. Number 3, original plans for Lashley and Omos. And now back to more silly wrestling news, hooray! On this past week's episode of Raw, Omos and Bobby Lashley faced off in a steel cage match where Lashley won by being put through the cage wall, meaning his feet touched the ground first. Classic steel cage stuff, really. But the finish of the match was originally going to be quite different. According to WrestleVotes on Twitter, there was a different kind of spectacle planned for the match. Over the course of the past week, there was an idea for a collapsing ring angle during the cage match tonight on Raw with Omos and Lashley. I heard that idea got squashed over the weekend. Good, it's way overplayed. And yeah, we agree. Number 4, NXT going on tour. NXT's rebrand into NXT 2.0 has been divisive, to put it mildly, with some loving the new direction of the show and some not loving it. However, regardless of appreciation of the show, one of the more common criticisms across both sides is that while the in-ring aspect of the show is the better part of it, the new wrestling talent in the ring can be a little one-dimensional when wrestling, which isn't really their fault considering, they're new to this. It is developmental after all, and they haven't had that many reps in terms of actual wrestling. But in some great news for the brand, NXT will begin performing house shows for the first time since the pandemic in 2020, touring around Florida beginning in June and into July. This will be a huge help to the talent on the roster, gaining much more experience in the ring and helping foster that seed of in-ring prowess that some of the NXT wrestlers possess. With the house shows taking place on Fridays and Saturdays for a few weeks, it's a nice balance of not overworking their wrestlers while still giving them plenty of time in the ring to practice and improve, like a developmental brand should be. Some good news for fans of wrestling. Number 5, XFL update. But don't worry, American football fans, we've got news for you too, or as they call it in America, je joue au foot. Je joue au foot. A French person is editing this list. Stupid French people. In early 2020, Vince McMahon and his giant stacks of money were very excited to be relaunching the XFL, a rival to the NFL, and something which genuinely seemed like it actually had a chance of working this time around, as opposed to the first iteration of it, which didn't. But of course, that pesky pandemic put a stop to those plans, causing the XFL to fold once again. But that wasn't the end of the story, as none other than Rocky Dwayne John Roxon swooped in and now co-owns the company along with his business partner. And now we know what's happening with the XFL, as it's coming back for the third time. Well, you know what they say, third time's lucky. The new season will launch in 2023, which already had people excited, but now the XFL also announced a partnership with ESPN and Disney to broadcast their games. So bloody hell, they're taking this thing seriously this time. Number 6, Cain Velasquez denied bail again. And we're back to talking about the serious stuff. Sorry about these tonal shifts. For those unaware, Cain Velasquez is currently awaiting trial for attempted first-degree murder after his arrest following a shooting on February 28th. Velasquez allegedly shot a man who had recently been charged with molesting a close relative. During the shooting, the man's father-in-law was shot and taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Velasquez has previously been denied bail, and now he's been denied once again, despite being willing to post a $1 million bond, being under electronic monitoring and round-the-clock supervision. In denying Velasquez's bail, the judge for the case said that Velasquez demonstrated a reckless disregard for human life. It's heavy. Sorry, everyone. Number 7, Nikki Bella's show cancelled. Since slowing down their wrestling schedule, the Bella Twins have managed to find success as reality TV stars, spinning off from Total Divas into Total Bellas and furthering their TV presence through various other projects. One of these larger outside projects was Nikki Bella appearing as a judge on America's Got Talent Extreme, which focused on much more large-scale productions of skill than your usual AGT contestant. The series was hosted by Terry Crews, who also did that promo introducing SummerSlam 2018. Look at that healthy crossover. However, Deadline reported earlier this week that AGT Extreme had been taken off NBC's schedule, and there are currently no plans on bringing the series back for another season. Sad. Number 8, Ric Flair returning to wrestling, but also maybe not. It's been a weird week for Ric Flair. We reported last week that Ric Flair was looking to return to wrestling, which he then confirmed on his Twitter. Ric Flair's last match was then announced for StarCast 5, taking place on SummerSlam weekend this July, and his reported opponent was none other than Ricky Steamboat, a fitting last hurrah considering their combined history in the industry. But then Steamboat declined the match, which is a pretty big spanner in the works, you'd think. Steamboat commented on it, saying that he was approached to do the match, but he thought he'd rather retire with his legacy intact, wanting fans to remember his last performance against Chris Jericho at Backlash 2009 when fans chanted "You still got it" at him rather than him returning for a nice paycheck, for fans to think that maybe he should have stayed retired. Great self-awareness from the Dragon, so who knows what this means for Ric Flair, his last match, and who his opponent might be. Number 9, Batista thinks CM Punk should join Judgment Day. Now, Big Dave, you do know that CM Punk's in AEW, you silly sausage. I jest, of course, but on Instagram, WWE put out a post on their cool new purple lads and lasses saying they were recruiting and looking for more people and asking the fans who they thought should be next to join after Rhea Ripley joined their ranks at WrestleMania Backlash. Drax the Dave Destroyer then chimed in the comments to say in an ideal world he'd like CM Punk to join the faction, which, does sound good, I guess. However, there's a huge barrier in the way of Punk joining the faction, that being his fear of the color purple, of course. And number 10, Haircut Gate. Haircuts, they're a big deal in WWE, and it's always played up as a big deal when someone turns up on our screen with a new hairdo, which is why WWE is so protective of those luscious locks on their wrestlers. Well, some wrestlers anyway. Fightful Select recently put out a report of a list of male stars who are permitted to get hairstylings from the WWE stylists. Everyone not on the list will have to sort themselves out before arriving at the shows. That list contains AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Dolph Ziggler, Edge, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Miz, Randy Orton, Riddle, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Kofi Kingston, Madcap Moss, Paul Heyman, Ricochet, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Sheamus, Xavier Woods. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad Bobby Lashley, Happy Corbin and Ricochet are all taken care of by WWE stylists. Don't know what they would do without them. Trombone. And that is our list. What's been your favorite bit of wrestling news from this week? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video around if you enjoyed it. Make sure you stay subscribed to WrestleTalk for more up-to-the-minute wrestling news. Let you check out some of the other news videos we put live this week. Maybe the Sasha and Naomi one. Probably. You probably want to watch that one. And jam that jam.